What's going on, everyone? American in Leeds, the American in Leeds Twitter or X, right there. The American in Leeds YouTube live as well. I don't get a chance to go on live very often. I've just been super busy, but want to vent a little bit about the window and the concern happening that I got for the first time, really, about what's going on with the transfer strategy and the 49ers and everything that's going on. So, if I take a step back to when the 49ers took over Leeds United 2 years ago, they were kind of behind the gun with the EFL approval of the transfer, getting Daniel Farka in. And I told everyone at the time, be patient, judge the 49ers when the window is closed. We have a strong squad, things will work out. The following window, obviously, we didn't get promoted. It was the same message. Trust the 49ers, they will figure it out. They are not skint, and they have a strategy in place. This particular window is different. This particular window, if the goal is to aim to be mid-table and then hope that you're 17th, as has been said by Daniel Farka and Parag Marate, then there needs to be a larger sense of urgency than I think is currently in place with what's going on. And the biggest red flag to me, now people are saying you need 10 players. There was rumors of $100 million transfer kitty, 200 million, whatever that is. I do believe that now this has not changed. They are absolutely shrewd negotiators. They will not be perceived as mugs, and they are not going to, especially at this phase of the window, which is debatable, they will not overpay for players. However, the biggest concern for me, and we'll go over kind of some of the outgoings, ingoings, etc. The biggest concern for me is that Elon Meslier is still at the club. Now, people can say, look, Alex, goalkeeper can come in at any time and it's not that important. I disagree. At this particular junction, the style of play that Leeds United is going to try to implement, which is hard to understand because, again, when you look back at Ipswich, when you look back at Leicester and what they were going into the season with and what their mindset was, and then what wound up happening is a completely different thing. So you have to have a sound ability to understand at least some semblance of a style of play for the first month. So, and that depends on your goalie. I really think Darlow and whoever comes in, and and there's been articles written that Meslier is going to move on and all this stuff. But if you are going to play out of the back, and I don't know if you're going to play out of the back all the time, some of the time, there's going to be times where you're going to want to do it. Can Farka trust Darlow to that level? He didn't seem to really trust him until it was absolutely necessary that he changed goalies. This coupled with the fact that Meslier, although is nice on the ball, he has a defensive frailty that he needs to be moved on from. And I'm at the point where I think him even being at the club where camp is opening next week. It's not like camp is opening, 2-3 weeks from now. We will have matches and friendlies in which you start to understand the players and who you've got now in a couple of days. So we have to move on from, that not being moved on from is a concern of mine. And I understand they want to get the best value for that player, but they have to at least have brought in a goalie at this point for me. I'm really disappointed in that. So let's go over basically the window so far. Outgoings. Monor Solomon, could come back as of right now, is going to Tottenham. Thank you for your service, Monor Solomon. Hopefully we can re-sign him. Bober was a cancer. We had to move on from him. Probably the one you're probably circling with, like, good riddance. Goulibaly, a very great locker room presence, will be missed. Okay. Junior Firpo, Sam Byram. What's going on with Sam Byram? Was apparently offered a contract. This is my guess. This is me throwing a dart at the wall, saying that he was probably offered a 1-year contract and he wants to see if he gets a multi-year deal in the championship. That is my only guess of what's going on there. But again, total guess. He was apparently married, which is fantastic, but we don't know. He was on the retain list. That's all we know about Sam Byram. And Joe Rothwell, who I think would have been a great squad player, adds some dead ball ability that we are lacking currently. And then incomings. Jack Harrison's coming back. Lucas Nimka on a free. Jakob Bijol was the center back target that everybody loved, that I think will actually battle for his place with Pascal, but most people are penciling him in. And then Sebastian Bornau, sorry, my apologies, who will be a squad player and I think an excellent depth piece. Building from the back, I can always applaud. But look, if I'm going to say right now, are we stronger than we were 2 months ago at the parade on May, I believe it was 5th, or whenever it was, early May? 2 months. We've had 2 months to employ a strategy. It is now July 5th. So the books have refreshed. No, we're a weaker squad than we were 2 months ago. So the concern needs to be there in the fan base, and rightly so. Again, as an American fan who loves the 49ers and loves all this stuff and was backing them 2 years ago, I'm starting to become concerned. So let's connect the dots, if you will. And I'm going to share this on the old YouTubes if I can. Looks like the StreamYard has updated their user interface. I guess that's what that's called. Okay. So John McKenzie retweeted, John McKenzie from All Stats Are We, and now Tifo Football, incredible football mind, ball knowledge, probably best in our fan base, retweeted a Barron Cross article 2 months ago that said some really nice insight from Barron Cross about what's going on behind the scenes at Leeds United. Whatever happens next season, I don't like the sound of that, the club will be put in some really good processes in place that can be great for the long term. So, in other words, sensible transfer strategy. Okay, we'll dig in a little bit deeper. Basically, summarize some bullet points from the article. Leeds are going to have a structured multi-year approach. Leeds will get rid of guesswork. In other words, we will be data-driven and coach evaluation driven. Data insights, scout's eye, coaching approval is kind of the process. Data-driven profiles. For instance, when looking at a left back, the squad involves analysis to identify players globally who fit a defined performance profile, proven effect in the Premier League. Holistic decision-making combines with cutting-edge analytics, with traditional scouting, and Farca's tactical insights. Risk reduction. This is what it's all about. The 49ers are reducing risk. Promoted clubs often overpay and pick ill-suited players. Leeds United methods ensures recruits are vetted from all angles. League-ready recruitment. The system is tailored to find players who can meet the physical and tactical demands of top-flight football. Punchline in all of this, Leeds are not winging it. Since April, They run a rigorous transfer strategy engine powered by data, on-ground scouting, and Farca's coaching view, making sure every signing is a strategic fit, not just a hopeful gamble. The systematic process reflects a more cautious, informed approach to building a squad capable of Premier League survival. All of this sounds wonderful. All of this sounds great. And I think the 49ers, if the 49ers are not one thing, they are master negotiators. You see that in the Bijol deal. And they've been lowballing a couple other deals as well. However, this is not just any season. This is not just us being at the top of the championship. This is Premier League survival, in which we're almost in another league. We're in another league. We're in this league where it's like purgatory. You don't want to be a yo-yo club, but you've seen 3 up and 3 down, 3 up and 3 down the past 2 seasons. Meanwhile, the top 17 have continued to strengthen. To break this narrative, you really are going to have to overpay for some players, for some positions. In my estimation, looking at this on a broad view, you're going to have to overplay, and you're going to have to put in clauses that you might not want to put in. Because if I'm a player going to Leeds United or Sunderland or Burnley, I'm going to say, that's great, but your odds on, basically the agent will say the same thing to the player. They're odds on favorites to go back down. So do you want to play championship football next year? You're going to have to make concessions. You're going to have to get out the pocketbook on some positions. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. Being July 5th. And again, on paper, if I were to look at this, we are a weaker squad. I don't think Sunderland's leapfrogged us. I don't think Burnley's leapfrogged us. But are we more equipped to go into the Premier League as of today? No. So there's a lot of work to do. There just is. And that's just me stating fact. That's just me stating, it's Tuesday and there's gravity and I don't know what else I can say. There's just things that are fact. We'll get into, I see a couple comments come in. We'll get into the comments in a second. The other thing that's been odd this window is the lack of number 10 links. The number 10 links have been very recycled. Gus Hamer, who I'm hoping is a break glass in case of an emergency type player. But, Emi Buendia, that's a recycled link. And there hasn't been too much more. And that makes me think, is there a change of formation happening, which I can't really see Daniel Farca go to a back 3. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be a back 3. Could be wrong. Back 3 or a 4-3-3, which is pretty simple. You're just dropping the striker and then dropping the 10 and maybe replacing him with more defensive player. But we have to upgrade. The number 2 position that we have to upgrade as an American, we have to upgrade Aronson. He cannot be starting in the Premier League. I like the kid. I think he's great. He's not starting for the American side. Pochettino has put in an MLS number 10 ahead of him. I don't know what his confidence. I'm hoping his confidence will be okay when he comes back. And it's a player that will obviously move, will keep, but I want to move him to be a squad player. Let's look at your comments, and then there's a couple of links I'll just comment on, and I can maybe share some insight into. Wayne May says, proof of another fan not understanding player contracts. Maybe I don't understand player contracts. I don't know. You got me. Hi, Alex. Hope you're all good. Lee, I'm excellent. Mesley's agents is doing his job correctly. Will tell Meslier to take the last year of his contract at the Premiership and move on free next summer. Yeah, interesting. A free agent. I don't know. I just am I think he's become toxic. I think he's a toxic player in the fan base unless he's completely moved, unless there's another goalie signed. I don't know. It's like, and will Farka be too tempted to look at him? We'll see. I mean, we're gonna have a freaking game in a couple of weeks, so we'll see where he's put into the Manchester United game. At this point in the current stage, I personally don't see any difference between Raz and the 49ers. Interesting. Actions speak louder than words at the moment. They are just bark and no bite. I will argue a little bit, Skip, and say that I would say that the championship side was better than what Bielsa had. And I actually think, like, if Bielsa had this, like, squad, what he would do with it would be interesting. But the sensible transfer stuff I can go along with for a little bit, but you're gonna have to overpay for some players. They're just not. How can you recruit here? And I know we're a giant club. I know we have the best fan base. I get all that stuff, and the ability to move this club up the table is huge. But it's going to be very difficult to recruit a player here when everyone and their dog are going to pin us for relegation. I think Fark will play with 2 8s and not a 10. Interesting, Skip. Yeah, I mean, this whole transfer window might be just hinting at a different formation, which I don't know. We'll see. I can't believe Farka will do that, but he could. He's just so married to that 4-2-3-1. Okay, Weah and Josh Sargent, I can kind of maybe give insight into because I'm an American. Weah, I don't think he's coming here. He plays for Juventus. He's he's a winger / fullback. Ton of ability. I just don't see him coming here. He rejected Forest. He plays with McKinney on that Juve side. He's going to probably say, "Hey, McKinney, what was Leeds like?" And McKinney's going to be like, "Well, I was booed off the stage. I didn't, I don't think he wants English football. I think that's agent driven. Right way off your list. Josh Sargent, I like more than Aronson in terms of his. If I were to trade Aronson for Josh Sargent, I would be excited because I think Josh Sargent's more physical. He's stronger. His hold up play is better. Not that Aronson is completely responsible for that, but and I think he can finish. I think he's streaky. The thing that would worry me about Josh Sargent is his injury history. So, and again, I would do that for like 10 to 15 if the player wants to move. But again, here's the other thing, and I'll just say this: look at the links so far this year. We've been linked to quite a few number 9s, and we signed Nimka. We have Perot, Bamford, and Joseph. You want to sign another number 9. Again, is that hinting to me at a change in formation? We haven't had the 10 links, really, the number 10 links. Now, and then I'll just finish really with this thought. People are saying we need 10 players. A lot of content creators are saying we need 10. We need I don't think we need 10 players. I think we probably need 6, and the 6 that we need are important. I think we need a number 9, a 10, 2 fullbacks, and a goalie. That's it. And I will feel much better about this squad. But as of right now, there's just a ton of work to do with camp opening up in a few days. And I know Farka wanted his bulk of his squad ready for then, which is fine. The 49ers can be like, hey, we're trying, but, it's just not the market. There's a couple of players where I'm just like, specifically, maybe I could say fullback too, but goalie. I mean, we got the center backs. Okay, check that off. I'm sorry. We got to move on from Meslier. We can't be even a question that he will be in and around the squad. Which, if I'm Meslier, I'm going in on Monday going, I'm going to earn my spot back. And that's his right. There were times last year where Meslier acted as an additional center back, and if Farke is so in love with that, he might say he might. I just I like Farke. I like Meslier as people. We need to move on from them. Not Farke necessarily just yet, but definitely Meslier. And Bober was an absolute cancer in what he said, and kind of I'm rotting away in England. There's the door. We move on. There's a couple of others. Harrison will be reporting back. Do we really want Harrison in and around the locker room when we're trying to build a squad that's going to fight for survival? That's it. That's it. That's my time. Smash the like the smash. My name's Alex, and I will see you guys probably in a week. Hopefully, everything will change. Everything will be new. We'll have 20 new signings tomorrow within the next 24 hours, and this video will go moot. All right. Peace out.